Now we're going to cover cutting applique on the machine. Once you've done your outline stitch or your template stitch, that just gives you the guideline where to lay down your fabric. Once your fabric is laid, you'll do the tack down stitch. At that point, you're going to remove the hoop from the machine and you pull up on the ends and you get as close as you can with a pair of scissors. Now if you follow the rules that I gave you about being 30% from the inside edge or the inside border, then you should be able to cut it away, just getting as close as possible, and everything will line up. Once that's done, you're going to take the frame, put it back in the machine, restart the design, and it'll finish doing all of the embroidered elements of the design. Now there's another way to do it, because that outline stitch we call the template or outline stitch. Now the easiest way to do appliques is if you don't have to cut them on the machine. So we're going to discuss how to make a pattern. Now when you first digitize that outline stitch, I want you to save that all by itself right away and just give it a separate file name. That way when you put that in your machine, you're just going to start that and you're going to hoop a piece of stabilizer as shown here, and then you can take a file card folder or a piece of plastic and place it within the frame. Once that's done, you'll just start embroidering right on that piece of cardboard or on that plastic, and it'll give you a template. It'll put the needle and stitch penetrations in there. You'll take that piece of cardboard or plastic out and you'll be able to cut out the exact shape of the template. Once that's done, you can then place that template over multiple pieces of fabric and mark all of your fabric and have it pre-cut so that you don't have to cut the pieces while they're on the machine. Now we're going to look at two designs on screen, and you're going to see that the first design, which is a rose, the petals of the rose and all of the leaves are actually a one-directional fill, and they all blend in together. Now I did that so that the leaves look like they're sitting in the background, and they're really not the primary part of the design that I want people to focus on. The rose itself, all of the petals have a base fill, and then all of these stitches and the darker threads are contouring to how I would picture the shape of the petals to be. Now that makes the rose be the focal point, and that's really what's going to jump off the fabric. On the other side we have an arrangement of fruit, and there's all different types of fruit, and you'll notice that every single leaf in every single fruit is slightly different and unique from each other, and they can all be controlled by using different stitch types and how you lay those stitches on each other. Even how the fruit blends, there's certain fruits like apples which are very smooth, and then there's oranges which have more of a texture. You can actually get different visual effects by learning how to change the values within the fill stitches that you're using themselves. Now there's a big difference between designs, in my opinion, that are bland and designs that are beautiful. Now this first design on this side is a very cartoon-like looking design, and it's outlined with black running stitches. Now the last time I went out into the garden and saw black lines around my flowers, I knew I better go out and buy some type of medication. That just isn't natural, and you don't want it to look like a cartoon when it's done. On the other hand, with this hibiscus design, all of the stitches are blending into each other and look very visually attractive. And we've used some gold metallic threads in there to bring out some vibrancy. Now the irony of this is that this design that's bland with all those little black outline stitches, all those running stitches, is by far the much more difficult way to digitize. It's very hard to do designs and to have little black outlines that perfectly line up around every single object. Doing something like this, on the other hand, it really is very freehand. You can be creative, because when that design is done, it's going to be your hibiscus, and nobody can criticize you if a stitch is out of place, because they'll never know the way it was supposed to be anyways. So part of this is really having fun with your software and being able to lay down those stitches and not worrying about if it's going to be perfect or not, because flowers and fruit and all of those things really aren't perfect to begin off with.